Alright, we're here at the Mercedes-AMG PETRONAS esports headquarters, and I'm gonna go into depth of a lap around the Shanghai International Circuit. So let's head into it. Alright, here we are then in the rig. Let's go for a quick little lap around China. Alright, here we start a lap then around the very technical Shanghai International Circuit, opening the DRS as we start our lap into turn 1 up to 8th gear, and then an incredibly long right-hand corner, very tough on the front left tire, downshifting slowly, easy on the brake pedal, not to lose the backhand, and then open up the exit of turn 2 and 3, short shift up the gears to keep the backhand stable and maximize traction. Into sector 2 we go then, brake as late as possible into the hairpin and set up this exit nicely, because it is quite a long exit through this left hand corner that's flat out, and then we're gonna have a small lift and a little tap on the brakes for this right hander to open up the double left. Again, gonna have to short shift up through the gears to keep the backhand stable, and then we're gonna head into sector 3. Which is mainly just this very long straight coming up. So very important to line up this exit and get a good, nice run down the straight. Another DRS zone right here, and many overtaking opportunities. Probably the main overtaking opportunity on this track into the next hairpin. You're gonna have to brake around 100 meters and get good minimum speed and a good exit, because it's such a slow corner, slowest corner on the track, of course. And then we're gonna head towards the final corner, a bit of an awkward apex and exit curb, and we're gonna open the DRS to finish up the lap around the Shanghai circuit. So that was my lap around the Shanghai International Circuit. Now let's review it back at the headquarters. Right, so we're here at our headquarters, and now let's head into a more detailed lap. Into the final corner. This is where your lap already starts. Even though the timer hasn't started, you need to set up the exit nicely and carry as much speed as possible into your flying lap, just to gain that extra 100th of a second into turn 1. Then open up the corner as much as possible and just carry as much speed as possible. You can't hit the brakes too hard, because you will lose the backhand on entry. Depending on your brake bias and the setup of your car, of course, and slowly through the gears, and just be smooth on the steering wheel to not create too much tire wear, and being able to save your tires for the rest of the qualifying lap, because that's what it's all about around a track like this, where the tires are going to be screaming for help, especially the front left. In turn 1, drivers will start to struggle with their tires overheating towards the end of their qualifying lap. So important to open up the exit here a little bit for the next corner. Downhill, so a little bit of understeer, and then short shift all the way through this corner to maximize traction and open up the steering wheel to carry as much speed as possible and keep the backhand stable. So up to 7th gear we're gonna go. Maybe up to 8, depending what car, probably what gear ratios, what engine manufacturer. But should be up to 7th, braking just after 100 meters in a straight line. As you can see, we're gonna go all the way over the curb. That's maybe not gonna be the case in real life. We are doing it to maximize the minimum speed in the next hairpin and gain a little bit of extra time. Rotation very important around here, as this is such a tight corner. You have to get rotated fast around it, but then at the same time you need good traction, because this is the second slowest point on the track, and yeah, it is quite a long exit, simply due to the fact that the next corner is going to be flat out as well. So all very important to get a good exit around this corner. Easy flat out around here. Be smooth on the steering wheel again to just save those front tires a little bit, because again it's going to be quite heavy on the front tires. Keep it as much to the left as possible to open up the next right-hander that's coming up. This is going to be a lift and a tiny tap on the brake to open up the double left-hander that's coming up. So you want to keep it really tight, as you can see we're doing here. Of course, we're not completely staying all the way over there because we've got some time to cross back over, and that way we keep more minimum speed throughout the corner. So as you can see, almost up to the curb as we go into this double left-hander, down to either third or fourth gear. If you go down to third, you're most likely going to have to short shift to fourth on this exit and short shifting to fifth a little bit as well. And then we're going to be braking at around 75 meters, just where that curb changed. And yeah, very important here not to run deep. Very important to prepare this very, very long straight. I reckon one of the longest straights on the Formula 1 calendar. So very important not to run deep, because then you're gonna have to sacrifice a lot of minimum speed in this corner at the apex. So important to set it up nicely. We run a little bit too deep there on the apex, but that's fine. We just have to sacrifice a little bit of minimum speed in the right-hander. And now again, smooth on the steering wheel, short shifting a little bit to not lose the back end, and just let it run all the way up to the curb to carry the speed down this long straight. We're going to open the DRS, and this is one of the main overtaking opportunities on this track. This is where we're going to see the most overtaking opportunities in the race. We're going to be braking at around 100 meters, maybe a little bit before, and brake as hard as you can. Try to not lock up or brake too late, because this is the slowest corner on the racetrack. So this is where you can make up the most time. Very important to carry minimum speed, but this exit is very important as well. We maybe turn in a little bit too early here, but we will be able to get away with it. You can see we run a little bit too deep, carried a little bit too much minimum speed and sacrificed the exit. So lost a little bit of time there as we go into the final corner. And we've seen quite a few crashes over the past few years here. It's a very, very hard corner, very weird angle. You have to hit it. And this exit curb, especially on the drying track, is very tricky. Due to the AstroTurf, you will get dragged off if you take too much of that exit curb. We're going to open up the DRS, keep a short line to run the minimum distance possible, and finish a lap around the Shanghai International Circuit. Thanks for watching, everyone, and see you guys next time.